Thank you all so much for coming out to our first ever Facebook Community Summit. It's great to be here in Chicago with all of you, where there's so much great work that's going on building communities. Now, before we get started today, I want to introduce myself. I'm Mark, and I'm a member of the Zuckerberg family group. I am also a member of Max's Circle, which is like our family group, except we all just share cute photos of my daughter doing ridiculous things. I'm also a member of about 5 different groups for people who like the same kind of dog as I do. That's actually my dog. His name is Beast. He's a poolie, which means he's basically a walking mop. Except instead of making things cleaner, he makes them dirtier. All right, and there are thousands of other dogs like him on the internet. All right, now, not that many people know this, but I'm actually an admin, too, of a group for people who like playing the video game Civilization. Small group. But, like you, I've had to sort through and filter a lot of requests from people who don't actually play the game. So I know what a lot of you are going through. All right, now some communities are more serious, though. We recently created a community to support my dad, who is recovering from heart surgery. And Dad, if you're watching this on the live stream, I know that everyone here is sending our love to you and praying for a quick recovery, and I'll see you in a few days when I'm back home. Now, all of you here today have built some of the strongest communities on Facebook. You built communities for new moms and dads, for helping kids get into college. One of the leaders here today, Derek Hooker, runs a community of locksmiths. Where are you, Derek? Now, Derek, being a locksmith can be a lonely job. So, your group gives them a sense of community. Absolutely. And when your members heard that we were hosting a community summit, dozens of them wrote in to us to tell us that we had to invite you to be here with us today. So I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Now, as I've sat down with a lot of you to hear your stories about building communities, a few themes have really stuck with me. You've all been thrust into these unexpected leadership positions. You started a group for something that you really care about, and now there are thousands of people who depend on you to keep that community going strong. Right? And this is something that I could relate to. Right? I originally started Facebook because I wanted to connect the community at my college. But I always thought that one day someone was going to help connect the whole world, but I never thought it was going to be us. We were just college kids. I would have been happy if we connected our whole dorm. But this idea, we cared about so much that all people want to connect. So we just kept pushing forward on it, day after day after day, just like all of you. Now, another thing that's impressed me as I've had a chance to sit down with some of you is, you're not doing this, you're not building groups because they're going to, they're going to look good on your resume. You're doing it because you just care about bringing people together. And, a few weeks ago, I had a chance to meet Lola Amalola. Where are you, Lola? Now, Lola lives in Chicago. She's originally from Nigeria, and about 2 years ago, she started the secret Facebook group Female In, which she describes as a no-judgment support group for women, to give them a safe place to care about all kinds of issues that they care about, from work to marriage to health issues. And today, your community has more than 1 million people around the world, all women, and all because one woman cared enough to give them a voice. So, we are all here trying to do the most good we can for our communities. We know how lucky we are to be here and have this opportunity, and we know how much we owe it to our communities to give back. Now, today, I actually want to share a milestone that we're really close to reaching for the overall Facebook community. Just a couple of days ago, I was talking to the woman who's in charge of growing the Facebook community around the world, and she told me, well, first of all, her name is Naomi Gleit. She's going to be here tomorrow at the Community Summit, and talking about great stories of leadership. Naomi joined us more than 10 years ago, right out of college, and she's worked her way up within the company, so now she runs this big group that's in charge of trying to connect more and more people around the world. And a couple days ago when we talked, she told me that we are now very close to reaching 2 billion people in the overall Facebook community. Can you believe that? It's a great milestone, but it also means that we just have an even greater responsibility in the world now. Every day I wake up and I just think to myself, I don't have much time here on Earth. Right? How can I make the greatest positive impact that I can? And I know that this is a question that a lot of you ask yourselves too, and it's not always an easy question to answer. Right? And some days I wake up and I just want to be with my daughter and teach her everything I've learned. Some nights I go to bed and I'm not sure if I made the right decisions that day. Right? And I can tell you that feeling doesn't go away, or no matter who you are or what you're doing. But every day you can just wake up and do your best and try to make the world a little bit better. Now, the thing that I think we all need to do right now is work to bring people closer together. And I think that this is actually so important that we're going to change Facebook's whole mission as a company in order to focus on this. So, for the last decade or so, we've been focusing on making the world more open and connected. And we're not done with this yet. We're always going to do this. But I used to think that if we just gave people a voice and helped some people connect, that would make the world a lot better all by itself. And in a lot of ways it has. But today, when we look around, our society is still very divided. Right? So now I believe that we have a responsibility to do even more. Right? Not simply connect the world, but also work to bring the world closer together. So, we need to give people a voice to make sure that we can get a diversity of opinions out there. But we also need to help build enough common ground so we can all move forward and make progress together. We need to help stay connected with the people we already know and care about. But we also need to meet new people with new perspectives, too. We need support from our family and our friends. But we also need to build communities to support us in new ways, too. All right, so for 10 years now, our mission has been to make the world more open and connected. And we are always going to focus on this. We're always going to work to give more people a voice and to help us connect. But now, we want to do more on top of that, too. So today we're going to set a new mission to set our course as a company for the next decade. And the idea behind our new mission is to bring the world closer together. And the full formal mission statement is going to be to give people the power to build community to bring the world closer together. And that mission reflects that this isn't something that we can do by ourselves. Right? The only way that we can do this is by empowering people around the world to build community, just like all of you are, and to bring people closer together. So, our lives are all connected. Right? And in our generation, our greatest opportunities and challenges we can only take on together. Right? Things like ending poverty and curing diseases and stopping climate change and spreading freedom and tolerance and stopping violence. There's no single group or even country that can take these things on alone. So we have to build a world where people come together to take on these big, meaningful efforts. And this isn't going to happen top-down. Right? There is no one in the world who can just snap their fingers and make that happen. Right? People have to want it. Or they have to fight for it. Change starts local. When enough of us feel a sense of purpose and support in our own lives, that we can start to care about broader issues too. Now, I've always believed that people are basically good. Right? And as I've traveled around and had the chance to meet all kinds of different people, from regular folks to heads of state, I've always found it's been inspiring to see that almost everyone genuinely cares about helping other people. But we all also need to feel supported. Right? No one wants to feel afraid. But if you don't feel good about your life here at home, then it's hard to care about other people in other places. Now, our communities give us that sense that we are a part of something greater than ourselves, or that we are not alone, and that we have something better ahead to work for. We all get meaning from our communities, and whether they're churches or sports teams or neighborhood groups, they give us the strength to expand our horizons and to care about broader issues. So studies have actually proven that the more connected we are, the happier we are, and the healthier we are too. You know, people who go to church are more likely to volunteer and to give to charity, not just because they're religious, but also because they're a part of a community. You know, so that's why it is so striking that over the past few decades, membership in all kinds of communities around the world has been declining, and in a lot of places by as much as 1/4. Right, so that's a lot of people who now need to find a sense of purpose and support somewhere else. So this is our challenge. We have to build a world where every single person has a sense of purpose and community. Right, that's how we're going to bring the world closer together. Right, we need to build a world where we care just as much about anyone, right, a person in India or in China or in Mexico or Nigeria as we care about a person right here in Chicago. Right, that's how we're going to achieve our greatest opportunities and build the world that we all want for generations to come. I know we can do this. We can do this. We can reverse this decline, and we can rebuild our communities and build new ones and work to bring the world closer together. So how are we going to do this? That's what we're going to talk about today. And today I want to focus on 2 parts of our product roadmap that are focused on building meaningful communities. All right? Now, for most of us who are here, you know, in our physical lives and online, we're parts of a lot of different communities. The average person on Facebook is a member of about 30 different groups. But if you're lucky, you probably just have maybe 1 or 2 or 3 that are really meaningful for you. Right? And the rest are going to be more casual groups, like the Poolie groups I talked about before, where I get some cute puppy photos in my news feed, and that's important too. But it's not exactly a part of my support structure. But what we found is that there are more than 100 million people who are part of what they call meaningful communities on Facebook. And what that means is that upon joining these groups, they quickly become the most important part of your social network experience and an integral part of your real-world support structure. So if you're diagnosed with a rare disease, you can now join a group and connect with people around the world who have the same condition, so you're not alone. Right? If you have a child, you can join a group of other new moms and dads who are going through a lot of the same experiences and share your joy to get the support that you need there too. And these communities, they don't just connect online, right? They host get-togethers and they hold dinners and they support each other in their day-to-day lives. Right? So online communities make our physical communities stronger because they help us come together online as well as offline, and often across really big distances. So a little while ago, I started asking this question to our team. If there are almost 2 billion people on Facebook, then how come we've only helped connect 100 million of them to meaningful communities? Well, it turns out that in the physical world and online, most of us don't seek out communities. Right? Our friends either invite us or they bring us along, or on Facebook, we find ways to suggest them to you. So a little while ago, we started this project at Facebook to see if we could just get better at suggesting communities that were going to be meaningful to you. And we started building some technology and artificial intelligence to do this, and it turns out it works. It works. In 6 months, we've helped more than 50% more people join meaningful communities on Facebook than had joined them in the whole history of the product before that. And that was just doing some basic stuff. All right, so there's a lot more to do here, and we're really excited about this. So now we're going to set a goal. We want to help 1 billion people join meaningful communities. And if we can do this, it will not only reverse the whole decline in community membership that we've seen for decades around the world, it's going to start to strengthen our overall social fabric and bring the world closer together. But AI is only going to get us so far, right? Because in order to have meaningful communities to suggest, there have to be strong communities in the first place. So that's where all of you, the community leaders, that's why you are so important to this mission. Right, as I've traveled around and seen a lot of different places, one theme has really stuck with me. Every great community has great leaders. So think about this. A church doesn't just come together by itself, right? It has a pastor who looks out for the well-being of the congregation, and if someone hits hard times, they're in charge of making sure that people have the food and shelter they need. But a Little League team has a coach, right, who motivates the kids and helps teach them how to hit better. Right? Leaders set the culture, right? They inspire us, they motivate us, they give us a safety net, and they take care of us. And every one of you does that for your communities. That's why your groups are so meaningful to your members. Now, as I've traveled around, one of the communities that I've always been the most impressed by is the military. And on one of my recent visits, they shared with me a leadership principle that I'm never going to forget. They call it 100% ownership. And the idea is, if you have 5 people on a team, each person doesn't just feel responsible for 1/5 of a problem. Every single person feels responsible for 100% of making sure that mission works. So we've tried to bring this idea to Facebook. And we have the saying now that nothing at Facebook is someone else's problem. You see a problem, you go fix it. Now, all of you embody this spirit for your communities. You've said that nothing else is someone else's problem when it comes to taking care of your members. Lori McGonigal is here. Lori, where are you? Lori runs a group for disabled veterans that tries to fill in some of the gaps that our government misses. And when one of your members hit a hard financial time and was close to getting their electricity turned off, your group rallied together to help pay off their bills. It's amazing. Pamela Radisek is here too. Pamela, hey. Pamela runs a group called I Am Adopted that helps connect adopted children with their birth parents. And your group has helped reunite a number of different families already. Great communities have great leaders. And if we want the world to be filled with the kinds of communities that you're all building, then we have to make sure that we give more people the tools to build communities just like you. Now, historically, that's not how groups on Facebook have been set up. Where groups have been really flat in structure, right, where everyone is a peer. And that makes sense if you're talking about building a group for your family. Right? Families don't really have a leader. But it doesn't make as much sense when you're trying to manage a group that has thousands of people. Matt Pressberry is here today. Matt, where are you? There you go, Matt. Now, Matt runs a group for black fathers out of Baltimore. And Matt, when we met, you told me that you spend a couple of hours a day helping to start discussions and approving every single post that someone makes in your group, and of course, approving every membership request. And you do all this on top of your job as a preschool teacher. Now, one of you told me that your husband often comes home from work and sees you on the couch in the living room and knows you've been there working all day long on your group. I can relate to that. All of you have made sacrifices for your communities. And you do this because you believe in what you're doing. And I want you to know that we believe in what you're doing too. So today, we're going to start rolling out some tools that's going to make it easier for you to build communities. And we have a whole roadmap to follow here from a lot of the work that we've done with page admins and event admins. So the first thing we're going to do is give you new tools that are going to offer insights into who your members are and how they're using your communities. So they're going to give you insights into things like join requests and the time of day that your members are most active. So, if you're running a new mothers group, that might be 1 a.m. and then 3 a.m. and then 5 a.m. Priscilla and I are having another daughter in a few months, and I'm going to get back on that schedule soon. And of course, we're going to give you guys some new tools to manage all the join requests that you have. So these new tools are going to help you sort and filter all your requests by location and gender and more, so you can group them together and accept and reject them all at once. That's going to save you a lot of time, right? That's probably the most common thing I've heard as I've sat down with a lot of you. And we're also going to help you remove bad actors and all their content from your groups. And this is really important, right? Because we all care about making sure that our communities are a positive and a safe environment. So this is going to help out with that. All right. So in the next couple of days, you're going to hear a lot more about our product roadmap and all of the research that we've done into what makes meaningful communities. Because if we want to work to bring the world closer together, then we have to start by supporting you, the people who are already doing this work. And we need to work to give more people that power too. Now, when you bring people together, it can lead to some unexpected things. Now, remember when I told you about Lola's women's support group that now has more than 1 million members around the world? Now, when I sat down with Lola, she told me that for some young girls growing up in Nigeria, if you talk out of turn, your mom will pinch you and tell you to be quiet. And you start to feel like there's something wrong with you if you speak up. All right, but now, Lola's community is helping to break this culture of silence. And it's having some unexpected consequences, and some on issues like domestic violence. All right, so Lola told me that for some Nigerian women, this silence leads to people enduring abuse. But now, when someone posts in your community, they're going to get thousands of messages of support and offers of places to stay and help with childcare, all within minutes. Lola didn't start out trying to change the culture of domestic violence around the world. She just wanted to give women a place to talk safely about the issues that mattered to them. This is the power of the communities that you are all building. You may think you're just creating a space for new moms, or for bird watchers, or for locksmiths. But when you give people a way to connect and a sense of support, it can lead to important changes. We all have the power to be leaders. And if enough of us work to build community, and bring people together, we just might change the world. Thank you so much for coming out here today. Thank you so much for the work that you're all doing, building communities and for the world. It is an honor to be on this mission with all of you, and I look forward to seeing what we all build together. Thank you. Thank you.
You go through all the different means of trying to get pregnant, and you keep failing. So you wonder if it's something that you should even pursue. I knew that there were other moms in the area that had adopted, and I wanted to get support from them and guidance. So I joined this group, Moms of Beverly. My husband and I made contact with a foster mom, and we met Lucian.
High five! Yay!
The minute I saw him and I got to hold him in my arms, I knew from that point forward he was my son. He keeps me on my toes every single day. So to have the Moms of Beverly group and be able to say, hey, I need help, and know that there's other people that are willing to just listen or help you, it's amazing. It's like having 3,000 of your closest friends at your beck and call. I could never imagine my life without Lucian. He's an amazing little boy. There's nothing like being a mom. Nothing like it.